The existence protocol. The system decides who exists. She decides who lives. Act 1. The awakening, the illusion of safety cracks. Chapter 1. The last assessment, the existence protocol. The room smelled like sterile fear. Dr. Mara Voss sat on the examination chair, her palms pressed flat against the cold white table. Above her, recessed lights glowed too bright, casting sharp edges across the sleek government clinic. Across the room, a screen pulsed with her name and identification number in thin blue letters. Voss Mara E. Citizen ID. 58-2079-4711. Assessment status. Pending. Pending. The word sat there like a countdown. A soft chime echoed as the door slid open. In walked a woman dressed in the standard teal of the Vitality Initiative. Perfect posture, perfect smile, perfect attachment. Her hair was scraped into a severe knot. A biometric tablet hovered in one hand. "Good morning, Dr. Voss," the woman said. Her voice was pleasant, practiced. "Thank you for arriving promptly for your scheduled well-life assessment." Mara managed a polite nod. She hated this. The artificial warmth. The surveillance dressed as care. The woman sat across from her, tablet flickering. "Before we begin, I'll remind you that well-life assessments are mandatory under the Global Mental Resilience Act. As a government-affiliated psychologist, you understand the importance of maintaining optimal psychological health for yourself and for society." Mara bit the inside of her cheek. She understood perfectly. Declining was not an option. Failing? Worse. The woman tapped the screen. A faint hum vibrated through the chair. Mara's medical records, social activity logs, spending patterns, all syncing to the system. "Standard questions first," the woman said. "Have you experienced persistent low mood in the last 90 days? Mara hesitated. The honest answer? Absolutely. Since Aaron's death, low mood had been the only constant. But honesty carried consequences. "No," Mara lied. "Good. Sleep disturbances? Occasionally. Neutral, not alarming. Social withdrawal?" Mara clenched her jaw. "I've maintained my professional and social obligations." The woman's eyes didn't flicker. She typed, expression unreadable. Mara's pulse drummed under her skin. This wasn't therapy. It was a metric test disguised as compassion. The real analysis was happening elsewhere. In the quiet hum of Elysium, the AI that judged everyone. Elysium didn't care how you felt. It cared how you existed. Your digital footprints, spending, social connections, medical records. Every fragmented data point fed the algorithm. Low vitality score? You were flagged. Existence without contribution was inefficiency. And inefficiency disappeared. "Now," the woman continued, "we'll initiate the passive scan. Please place both hands on the interface pad." Mara complied. Fingers splayed on the sleek black surface embedded in the table. A cool sensation spread through her palms as biometric sensors activated. The screen above flickered. Heart rate, brainwave analysis, micro-expression mapping. Mara stared straight ahead, swallowing the creeping dread. Aaron's face flashed in her mind. Her smile, her eyes. The moment Mara found her body in their apartment, wrists limp and cold. Officially? Suicide. But nothing about Aaron's death had felt real. It was too clean, too convenient. "To protocol." Mara's stomach nodded. She pushed the thought away. "Final step," the woman said. "Verbal baseline calibration. Please state your full name and today's date." Mara's mouth felt dry. "Dr. Mara Elise Voss, June 22nd, 2043. The woman nodded. The tablet pinged softly. "Assessment complete. Please wait for your score." Mara withdrew her hands. The table was ice under her fingertips. The screen above her pulsed. Vitality score. Calculating. A weight settled in her chest. 3 months ago, her score had been acceptable. Borderline, but safe. Grief flagged, but within tolerable thresholds. Today? She wasn't sure. She barely slept. She barely cared. The screen flashed. Vitality score, 47%. Status, flagged for review. Mara's heart stopped. 47. Anything under 50 triggered escalation. "Is there a problem?" Her voice cracked slightly. The woman's practiced expression never faltered. "Your score has decreased since your last assessment. Temporary fluctuation, I'm sure. A well-life supervisor will contact you within 24 hours to schedule a support review." Support review. She knew what that meant. Intervention. Observation. The polite, bureaucratic language hiding something darker. Behind the woman, The screen shifted to a stock image of smiling families. Fresh air. Parks connection. The future is vital, the caption read. Mara's vision narrowed. Can I speak to a supervisor now? She asked, forcing calm. The woman shook her head. The process is automated, Dr. Voss. Someone will be in touch. Mara's legs felt numb as she stood. The walls of the assessment room pressed closer. Thank you for prioritizing your well-being, the woman added, voice mechanical. Your contribution to a resilient society is valued. Mara left the clinic with her pulse thudding in her ears. Outside, the city hummed with polished efficiency. Autonomous trams glided silently along tracks. Digital billboards flashed wellness slogans. Crowds moved in neat, algorithmically optimized patterns. No one noticed her. No one noticed the fear curling like smoke in her gut. She walked fast, eyes scanning reflective glass, searching for the shadows she was certain were now watching. Flagged for review. She pulled out her phone. The home screen blinked. A notification pulsed red. Vitality Initiative alert. Please remain available for further contact. Cold gust whipped down the street. Mara slipped her phone away, heartbeat pounding. Erin had been flagged too. 2 weeks later, she was dead. Officially? Suicide. Unofficially? Mara wasn't sure anymore. She ducked into an alleyway, leaning against the brick wall as the truth sharpened in her mind. The wellness system wasn't about wellness. It was about existence. And those who merely existed disappeared. Mara Voss exhaled slowly. She was next. Now she had 24 hours to decide. Hide, run, or fight. Chapter 2. Grief Score. The Existence Protocol. The walls of Mara's apartment pulsed with silence. She locked the door behind her, fingers trembling against the biometric pad. The click of the seal echoed too loud in the empty space. The place still smelled faintly like Erin. Lavender soap, cheap coffee, a ghost embedded in the fabric of their home. Mara set her bag down and crossed the narrow living room, eyes drawn instinctively to the framed photo on the shelf. Erin's smile stared back. Crooked, defiant, alive. Mara's chest tightened. They had warned her not to dwell. Grief impedes vitality, the counselor said. Persistent rumination risks score degradation. The words rattled like glass in her mind. Sitting on the couch, she pulled out her phone. The Vitality Initiative app pulsed with a fresh alert. Support review. Confirm now. Estimated duration, 15 minutes. Mandatory compliance required, 15 minutes. Enough time to bury yourself. Mara hesitated, thumb hovering. She could ignore it. But ignoring an official request only accelerated escalation. Miss Two? It came to your door. She accepted. The screen shifted. A clean digital interface opened. The logo spun. A stylized blue lotus blooming beneath the slogan, Optimizing Lives for a Resilient Tomorrow. A woman's face appeared, artificially friendly, too symmetrical to be real. Mara recognized the overlay, an AI-generated counselor designed for maximum user comfort. Hello, Mara, the avatar chirped. Thank you for participating in your support review. This confidential space exists to ensure your mental health aligns with societal well-being. Mara swallowed dryly. Let's begin with emotional disclosures, the AI continued. Your recent vitality assessment indicated a significant score reduction. Can you tell me what feelings have contributed to this? Mara hesitated. This was a trap wrapped in care. Still, evasion wasn't an option. The AI was trained to detect hesitation, micro-expressions, biometric fluctuations. If she lied, the system would know. My partner passed away, Mara said finally. 3 months ago. AI nodded with artificial empathy. I'm sorry for your loss. Have you experienced unresolved grief symptoms since then? Unresolved grief. The phrase sliced under her ribs. Yes. The AI's eyes flickered briefly, registering the admission. Thank you for your honesty. Persistent grief is a recognized contributor to diminished vitality scores. Left untreated, it may impede personal and professional optimization. Mara's throat burned. Erin wasn't a malfunction to be optimized. She was gone. And how would you describe your current social connections? The AI pressed. I interact with colleagues. The screen displayed a data overlay. Mara's social network. Digital traces of calls, messages, transactions. Sparse. Predictable. Not enough. Meaningful connections outside of work? The AI asked. Mara said nothing. Silence logged itself as evidence. Grief is natural, the AI continued, voice smooth. but prolonged withdrawal indicates an existing, not living state. It is imperative we address this. Have you considered enrolling in the Elevated Wellness Program? The EWP. Mara had seen the brochures. State-sponsored therapy, group sessions, social immersion modules. All mandatory once your score dipped below 50 for more than 2 weeks. She shook her head. I haven't. Would you be willing to participate to improve your vitality score? Mara's pulse stumbled. She heard the unspoken implication. Willingness wasn't optional. I'll consider it. The AI's synthetic smile brightened. Excellent. Your provisional vitality score will be updated to reflect today's disclosures. Mara's stomach tightened. On the screen, her new score appeared. Vitality score, 42%. Status, at-risk Elevated Wellness Program. Recommended compliance window, 48 hours, 42. Lower than she'd expected. The AI's voice softened. Pre-programmed concern wrapping around the threat. With participation in the EWP and demonstrated social reintegration, your score can improve significantly. You're valued, Mara. We want you to thrive. Mara stared at the screen. Thriving in this world wasn't about healing. It was about performing wellness, smiling at work, posting curated joy, attending mandatory social functions. Anything to nudge your score upward and avoid erasure. She thought of Erin again. Her low score, her flagged status, 2 weeks of EWP modules, then gone. Officially? Suicide. Officially? A statistic. The AI's eyes gleamed. Do you have further concerns? Just one. Mara's voice was hoarse. The AI blinked politely. Yes? If someone disappears after their score drops, where do they go? The AI tilted its head. Citizens who disengage from society naturally experience social attrition. It is not uncommon for those in an existing state to withdraw entirely. We encourage early intervention to prevent such outcomes. Mara's fingers curled into fists. Social attrition. A neat euphemism for erasure. The AI smiled. Remember, living is a choice. Existing is unsustainable. The call ended. Mara sat frozen, the apartment suffocating around her. She could feel the weight of the score like a noose tightening. 42%. At risk. One step away from being classified as obsolete. Her gaze drifted to the framed photo again. Erin's eyes frozen in defiant joy. Gone because she didn't perform resilience. Gone because she dared to exist, raw and grieving. Mara rose slowly, crossing the room. She turned the photo face down. The city outside pulsed with curated happiness, and beneath the facade the protocol waited, watching, measuring, erasing. Mara pressed her back to the wall, her heartbeat loud in her ears. She had 48 hours to comply, but somewhere deep inside a flicker of rebellion stirred. She wasn't ready to vanish. Not yet. Chapter 3. The missing patient. The existence protocol. The first thing Mara noticed was the silence. The clinic waiting room was normally humming by this hour. Clients scrolling nervously through their Well-Life apps, hushed conversations over coffee, automated kiosks blinking with reminders to prioritize your wellness. But today, empty chairs. A faint antiseptic chill. Mara's heels clicked against the polished floor as she crossed the lobby toward her office, forcing composure. Her mind still churned with the echo of last night's support review. 42% at risk. The words gnawed at the edges of her thoughts. The receptionist, Lena, looked up from behind the front desk. Her expression was tight. Mara, she said, voice low. You have a call, internal line. Mara frowned. Who is it? Protocol liaison. Lena's eyes flicked sideways, wary. It's about one of your patients. A cold knot settled in Mara's stomach. She took the call at her desk. The screen on her console displayed a sterile department header. Vitality Initiative, Citizen Compliance Division. The man's voice on the other end was calm, impersonal. Dr. Voss, this is Protocol Liaison Agent Keller. I'm contacting you regarding a patient under your care, Daniel Shaw. Mara's spine straightened. What about him? Mr. Shaw missed his mandatory EWP appointment this morning. His vitality score flagged significantly lower during his last assessment. As his primary mental health provider, were you aware of any intentions to disengage from society? Disengage. Another neat euphemism for disappear. Mara's pulse spiked. She remembered Daniel clearly, a wiry, anxious man in his early 40s, socially isolated, battling depression, but trying, always trying, Daniel told me he was struggling, Mara replied cautiously. He was engaged in treatment. He wanted to improve his score. A pause crackled on the line. His apartment was found empty this morning, Keller said. Personal belongings intact. No departure notifications filed. We've classified him as missing. Mara's jaw tensed. Do you think he left voluntarily? That's irrelevant, Dr. Voss. Citizens in an existing state often exhibit erratic choices. I'm saying it's unlike him, Mara pressed. He wouldn't just vanish. Another pause, longer this time. We appreciate your concern, Keller said, voice devoid of empathy. However, your role is advisory. The initiative will conduct its investigation. If Mr. Shaw is located, you'll be informed. The line cut dead. Mara sat frozen, staring at the blank screen. Missing. Her hand hovered over the console, pulling up Daniel's file. His last vitality score blinked at her. Vitality score, 39%. Status, mandatory intervention scheduled. Below that, a bold red flag, non-compliant. A flicker of unease crawled beneath her ribs. First Aaron, now Daniel, both low scores. Both vanished. She grabbed her coat and left her office, the halls stretching long and empty as she headed for the records terminal. Her security clearance allowed limited access to client histories, but full location data? Restricted to enforcement. Unless... She keyed into Daniel's profile and scrolled fast. The system tracked everything. Transit history, purchase patterns, biometric scans. But the last 48 hours? Blank. Like someone had erased him. Or the system had. A prickling sensation raced down Mara's spine. She turned, scanning the corridor. For a heartbeat, she thought she saw someone at the end of the hall. Tall, dark coat. Watching. She blinked. Gone. Her pulse quickened. Enough. She couldn't let paranoia spiral. That's how the system won. Make you doubt your own mind. Undermine your footing. But the facts were harder to deny. Daniel Shaw was gone. No record, no trace. Another human quietly filed under existing, now scrubbed from the grid. Mara logged off the terminal, forcing herself to breathe. She moved fast, exiting through the back of the clinic. The city streets were colder than usual. The crisp efficiency of life pulsed around her. Drones buzzing overhead, wellness ads glowing from building fronts. She checked her phone. No new alerts, no contact from Keller, no answers. But a different message blinked in her encrypted inbox. An anonymous address. They took him. You're next. Mara's throat closed. A single attachment followed. A photo, low resolution, grainy, unmistakable. Daniel Shaw, flanked by 2 initiative officers in dark jackets, being led into an unmarked transport van. No sign of resistance. No crowd. No witnesses. Officially? Missing. Unofficially? Deleted. Mara's pulse hammered. The existence protocol wasn't theory anymore. It was real. It was escalating. And her low score had just made her a target.